ASMR, a video with Jen and Chu. Okay, today we're gonna do a putting competition. Me and Chu, who's behind the camera. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask each other random questions that people ask us all the time about golf or professional golf or anything that we can come up with during this nine hole putting challenge, 6 hole putting challenge. And it's gonna be like random distance, no rules. One person choose the hole, next person choose the hole, blah blah blah, and winner takes all. What's the question?
So when you read your putts, do you pick a speed, or do you know how hard you're gonna hit it and then pick a line, or do you pick a line first and then see how hard you're gonna hit it? Oh, I guess you picked the line and didn't think about the speed.
Um, so I'm like purely feel based, so it's very hard for me to think about what speed I want to hit something. Don't put it so close to my face. So I rarely ever think about speed. In fact, last time when I was younger, if someone told me like, "Hey, you have to putt this hard," I would like smash it by. So I never think about speed. If anything, I look at the hole and kind of gauge what kind of speed I'm gonna hit the putt on, but I never think like uphill, downhill, flat, hit harder, hit softer, never that kind of thing. Doing weird stuff with his hands. My question of the day is, since you do aim point, do you think that it takes away from the feel or it increases your feel when you're putting?
It increases the feel because I have a rough idea of how much the ball is gonna break. So I just kind of feel my way through the putt as well, but knowing how hard I need to hit it.
Okay,
Because
but
like
since it's like a new kind of concept, sort of new, do you think that like when it first came out, it increased people's feel, or like people that putted with feel would want to do it more or do it less, or like have a preference?
I think it's individual. I mean, if you are someone who is quite precise on where you like to aim it and you know how hard you're gonna hit every putt in terms of the green speed, then I think it really works. I was quite skeptical about it at first, but towards the end, as I learn more about it, I think it gives me a better understanding of how certain putts might break, and then with how I'm putting that day, I can take more or less.
Based
So
on your speed?
based on my speed
Okay.
of the day.
Okay. This putt to remain all square after the first, after I zoomed it by just now. Easy. You choose the next hole. Okay, he chooses the next hole, so I'm gonna think of a question.
So few days you'll go with a long putt.
Okay, in terms of like something that amateur golfers need to work on, do you think they should work on stroke, on speed, on like more technique or more feel based drills?
I think it's always good to start off working on the technique, making sure you can start the ball online, and then from there you can progress on working on feel, speed, and line reading.
Oh,
Ah,
okay, follow up question to that. But there's not a lot of like putting coaches, or like maybe in Malaysia, for instance, there's not a lot of putting coaches. So do you think they should see a coach, or like how would they learn the right putting stroke?
um, there are
Like
a
I
lot.
mean, putting specific coaches. Obviously, there's a lot of coaches, but yeah.
I guess again, putting is individual. You have to kind of feel, when you set up what works best for you. Some guys putt better when their eyes are over the ball. Some guys putt better when their eyes are slightly inside the ball. Some putt
So
with way more forward press, some with no forward press. So I think it's a bit
trial
of
and
trial and
error.
error.
Okay.
There's a lot of putting gadgets out there to kind of help you start the ball online and make sure that you start the ball online. So from there, I think you can kind of work around and see which ball position works best, which posture, and which setup works best for you.
Okay, so like when you say work on stroke, you don't mean like necessarily see a coach, but just make sure your stroke is consistent enough.
Yep, and make
Okay.
sure you're starting the ball online more often than not.
Okay.
So Jen, since you say you're very feel-based kind of putter, so what do you work on when you practice?
I think in this, sorry, I hope you guys can hear me because my mic is like bending over.
I think they can hear
Um,
you fine.
but I think when it comes to feel based doesn't mean that you don't work on your technique or your stroke. It's just that you don't have to be so technical. So, for instance, for me, something like aim point doesn't really work. Because, for instance, if I aim point and oh, that's going in the hole.
No, that's not.
If I do aim point and I feel like the number, let's say, of the slope is like 2, but with my feel, I think it's going to be more of like a 1.5, I'm still going to trust the 1.5. So for me, it doesn't make sense to do aim point because I'm still going to trust my feel over the numbers in that sense. And I think I will still hit a more confident putt if I trust my feel versus the number. So when I work on putting, I work more on like something that is like repeatable, but at the same time it's still like technique. Like if I work on my stroke, it's still working on technique, but I work on it in a way of like, how does this feel and how what do I do differently? For instance, if I'm pushing the putt and then I start it back online, I'm like, okay, what's the difference in the feel of a putt that was pushed and a putt that started online? And then I just try to repeat that feel instead of like repeat, for instance, like doing it on trackman and seeing your numbers or whatever, but like it's just more feel based overall rather than numbers or data. Finish it first. So before we move on to the next hole. I'll give you this. It's fine.
No, no, no. Oh, thank you.
Although there's no gimmies in pro golf, there's gimmies today. But okay, we'll move on. Oh, I choose the hole. Okay, we're gonna go uphill now because we went flat and then downhill. Let's go like right here.
The first one.
Yeah, the closer one. From here. Think of your question first. You don't have to ask a question about putting. It can be about anything about golf.
So what do you think of standing over a putt?
Um, Good question. Is it bad to say I don't think about anything?
No, I guess it depends.
Okay, well, it's okay. I think when I'm over the putt, when I'm like right about to hit it, I don't actually think about anything.
And then you leave it short.
Oops. Which again doesn't work for everyone. But for me, I don't like to, like I said just now, I don't like to think like, oh, it's uphill, hit harder, or it's downhill, hit softer, which is like sort of a swing thought for putting, because putting for me is very feel. So when I'm over the putt, I don't think about anything. But before I hit the putt, I do think about like the line, the speed, whatever. But that's like a second before the putt, I think about absolutely nothing. So right on top of the ball, I think about nothing. Okay, well, it's still sort of related to putting, but I think a lot of amateurs, even if they don't necessarily say that they struggle with putting, probably an easy way to get them to like reduce their strokes is through improving their putting. So why do you think amateurs mostly struggle with putting?
I think a lot of times when people start playing golf, putting is never usually the first thing that they learn. It's always about the swing and hitting balls at the range and how far to hit it. You know how nice my swing is. So I think a lot of people neglect the short game, putting, chipping, and that's usually the part of the game that saves you a lot of strokes. And I am guilty of it growing up as well, just hitting balls and hitting balls. But as I get older, you know, I learned to love practicing my putts and my stroke, and I put more time into it.
So would you say that putting is the most important part to practice even for amateurs, or is it just something, because obviously pros practice it a lot, but like do you think it's something that amateurs should work on, or should they still work on their swing first and then work on putting?
I think you can work on both. I mean, if they have time, you know, spend equal time on both. I mean, I don't think you need to spend as much time on the range. Sorry, you don't need to spend as much time on the putting green compared to the range. I mean, if you could do 20, 30 minutes, 3, 4 times a week, I think that will go a long ways.
Okay. He just said I'm gonna three putt this.
No, I just asked, are you going to 3 putt this?
What's my question for the next one? Think about it first.
What, this putt?
No, not that, but think
Yeah.
about my question because you have no idea.
All right. It's uphill. Don't leave it short. Is my gimme?
Yeah.
It should be. I mean, I'll make it with my eyes closed.
Okay, I've got your next question. Okay, we're
short
going
short
on
one.
hole 4. We're still all square at the moment. 2 putts all the way. He's chosen a shorter putt, so got a chance of making this one. So my next question is, like you were trying to do on when I was putting that, you were trying to like, psycho me a little bit, as the saying goes. Or people
Yeah.
like to say they're trying to just put pressure on the putt. So how much of putting do you think is mental?
How much I think it's mental? I'd say a good 75%. I think. I mean, I think if you're confident standing over a putt, even though your stroke might not be on point, I think you still make a lot of putts because you kind of you hit the putt more confidently, and I think there's a higher chance you're gonna start it more online or kind of feel your way around it. But if you stand over a putt not knowing where the ball's gonna go or how you're gonna hit the putt, I think that obviously lowers the chance of you making the putt. Oh yeah, nice. Thank you.
Well, I should have seen you putt that because I totally did not see your line.
Oh, not my fault. So
Okay, ask me a question.
I once remember you saying that you don't like to watch your fellow competitors putt. May I know what's the reason behind it? Because for me, it's watching the others putt will kind of give me a sense of a better feel of how the ball's rolling and what the line is.
I think primarily, like what I said just now, is because I'm so much feel. If I see somebody do something, and everybody's not gonna have the same stroke. Some people push, some people hit straight, some people pull, and obviously I can't stand behind another person when they're putting. I can just see the ball roll. So I might look at like their speed and stuff, but I never really look at their line because I think you can always maneuver a putt to go a certain way. I
Ooh,
wanted that so bad.
that was
But I think
close.
like with regards to your question, it's like somebody could have pulled the putt and then it looked like it broke right to left, for instance, but actually they pulled it. But because I see that now in my head, I think it's going right to left. But then when I originally read the putt, maybe I thought, oh, it's straight. But then now I'm doubting myself because I saw that their putt break left. So I think it's better for me to like not base it off other people.
Okay.
One down,
Yep. You want to repeat that? You're what? One down? Okay.
2 holes to go. My choice. I'm gonna start hitting a bit shorter because we got 2 holes to go. So these putts are like more higher percentage of making it. So if someone misses it like I just did on the last hole, you have a chance to catch up. Whereas if it's a long putt, it's like 2 putt, whatever. So going shorter.
I have no questions for you at the moment.
No questions for me. That's so sad.
No.
If you guys have other questions that you want me to answer, put it in the comments.
Let me think.
If you have no questions, you have no questions. You can just watch the
No.
putt.
I'm actually gonna watch your line.
Booms. Your turn. No pressure.
None. One.
Okay. We talk about putting, but what about a putter?
Oh yeah.
Like, how much do you think is personal feel, or is there actually like a time, maybe if you've been using a putter for like 10 years, that it's actually time to change the putter, or like that the putter can actually affect your, I don't know, putting performance? So, what do you think?
I think you gotta use a putter that first like the look of it and how it sits and how it feels in your hand. Um, to go to like a putting guy I saw in Thailand where it gives you he has an equipment that tells me what kind of stroke I have and what kind of putter suits me best. From there I can decide easy on if I should change my putter or I should kind of stick to the one I'm using.
Oscar, no comment for you from that?
Well,
No comment.
just didn't take enough line.
It's all down to the last hole. Okay, we're just gonna go to the last hole, and
The
the
long
question
one.
is just going to be not really a question, but we're going to long one. Okay.
Really long one.
What is a piece of advice about putting that you would give, well, any golfer?
I would say the most important thing I would say about putting is having a good tempo. I think every putt, regardless of the green speed, I think having the same tempo, your putting stroke really helps you get better feel through the round and the speed of the green. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine. We have mics for a reason.
All right. Three putt zone.
Wow. What confident words right before hitting the putt when we're
No,
currently all square.
for
I
you.
don't even know which hole is going to, but okay. Okay, we're going to the one.
Oh,
Oh, whoa, that broke.
oh.
Wait, are we going to the bottom one or the up one?
No, I went to the last one. I guess I totally misjudged the line on that.
Are you playing with your non-existent hair?
Yep. So, what's your piece of advice?
Okay, so, well, obviously, we're going to take a lot more break for this. That honestly, putting is just a lot of practice. I think people just think because it's in golf, like it should be the easiest, but we underestimate like putting is a lot of feel too. So feel is all about practice. And if you're not practicing,
All right, join me.
no, no, no,
Join me.
no, it's gonna stay up. But if you're not practicing, but you have high expectations on like the putting green, I think you're gonna end up putting worse, which is what happens to a lot of people because they're like, oh, I have a 15-footer, I should make this all the time. But in reality, like that's not gonna happen because even pros only make it like whatever percent of the time. So I think expectations are very high, but the practice needed to have those expectations are not there. So a lot of people get very disheartened on the putting green. So I think you just have to realize that it takes a lot of practice to develop the feel for putting and that it's much harder. And that's why everybody says like putts make win. What do you call that? Drive for show, putt for dough. Because if you make the putts, you win the tournaments. So let's try to make this two putt and beat him. So big slope over there is what happened. It hit that slope and went phew all the way down here. So now we've got like
Nice sound
a
effects.
I don't know, what do we have? 30-footer for a two putt?
Yeah,
I'm over there, so I'm not much better, but I've got a higher chance.
I'm not gonna aim
You
point
all
this.
know
I'm
I'm the
just gonna
better
feel
putter
it.
here, right?
Oh no! I think I pushed it and I hit
Whoa.
it too hard.
Well, you've got to try over there. What's this kung fu moves going on? My turn. I think this is going in the hole. I just stepped on your line.
Of course you did. It's whatever it takes to beat me, right?
I already read what you mean.
Just to win. Oh, I would see that. No,
Give.
give me for you.
You're got a further putt.
Yeah, but if I make mine,
Like, come on. Come on. You still got 9 feet.
9 feet. What are you like? What's wrong with your eyesight? You need some glasses.
Okay,
9 feet.
sorry, that's like 7.
4.5 feet. 9 feet. Oh my god.
I got
Good feel there you got.
I got
Nice feel.
smaller feet.
9 feet. My putting sets would be so good though if this was 9 feet. Oh, that broke hard. Greens are awful.
See, you should have give to me. See, you should have give.
That broke hard.
Now I have this putt to win.
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
regretting your decision now.
no, it's okay. Let's hit a bad putt.
He's still not going to give it to me.
Nope. There's no gimmies in pro golf.
You took 2 gimmies.
Because you gave them to me. Nice, congratulations.
Still the best putter around.
Yep. Hasn't beat me in the golf course yet.
Last thing that I'm going to do is throw this ball in the hole.
She's trying to show off her beautiful throwing skills. Nope. Yep.
Stick to golf.